What's up, and welcome back to Opposites Attract Podcast. This is Sonja Ramirez, your girl, and I'm sitting next to
Miguel Ramirez.
What's up, everybody? How was your day?
How was your week?
How was your life?
Going.
Great. How are you feeling today?
I'm doing good.
Yeah?
How you doing, babe?
Good. You mentioned you were feeling a bit sore.
Yeah, a little bit. We went to CrossFit this morning with Coach, and we took Audrey with us. That was fun.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
What'd you think of CrossFit?
It wasn't really CrossFit.
it was a little different.
Yeah, there was a lot of cardio.
It was more cardio
and
CrossFit.
So normally CrossFit, there's a lot of lifting, there's burpees and stuff like that, but it's not running. So I was expecting different, but it was cool. It was, it was good. Yeah. I noticed that because you're very competitive, and it's, and I am not. I'm competitive with myself.
Okay. I know what you're talking about. Go.
But that's just it. Like, because I've always, with Legal Shield.
Why are you even bringing this up?
Because that's just who you are.
No, what brought this up?
Because that's who you are.
We were talking about CrossFit, and you just started about me being competitive. Why
I said
did
what
you bring it
I
up?
learned about myself is that I'm not competitive in that manner. Because somebody else was telling me something about that. Like, and with Legal Shield, like I remember they used to have contests, and I never was in it to compete with other people. Yeah, it was always with myself.
Yeah.
Like when they had contests on who could bring the most guests, I would always try to bring more guests than what I did the month before.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It wasn't, you weren't, it's not like you needed to beat this person.
Right.
Yeah.
Or like if I'm looking at, like our business, I'll look at what I did last month and be like, okay, this is what I'm going to do this month. Or when I go to the gym and I see that it's always been, I've just noticed that I'm competitive with myself, but not others. Just like when I talked about, getting into bodybuilding, like doing a contest. For me, it's not about winning.
Or competing against everybody else.
Right. It's me competing against me. It's me being vulnerable enough to get in front of the room in a bikini where there's no place to hide.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I just realized that with, like, for me, I wasn't trying to, like today, I wasn't trying to be the first in. I was competing with myself because I don't like running. Yeah. Like, I don't like running. I'll lift. I will push myself like no other when it comes to lifting. But when it comes to running, I just never cared for running. I'll do kickboxing. I'll do Zumba. I'll do all of that. But I never cared to run on a treadmill unless I don't even run. I'll put the incline all the way up.
Yeah.
But
did you feel like we were competing today?
It seemed like you were.
Yeah, that's why I was asking you. I was asking you, why are you bringing this up?
Yeah.
Because we were talking about CrossFit, and then you start talking about being competitive. I don't think it was that.
I think it's because I know your spirit, and I know who you are.
I wasn't competing with you.
You know what I'm saying? Not with me, baby.
But I wasn't competing with anybody else either.
But am I wrong about you?
Yeah. About what?
You have a very competitive, it's not a bad thing.
No. This is, for me, if we're competing, then it's a competition. Then we're competing.
Okay.
If it's not a competition, I'm not competing. We went to CrossFit today. I didn't go to the CrossFit Games and enter. It's not a competition.
Yeah.
We just went to go do CrossFit.
I'm just saying, okay, the difference between you and I is that I compete with myself. That's it. Like, I don't have that competitive nature, and you do. It's not a bad thing, but you do, and that's okay. Yeah. But I'm just saying, I noticed that with my, like, that's how I am.
Well, what we were talking about at CrossFit, we had to do some exercises as a team, right? And that's kind of why you're bringing this up, isn't it?
No. I said what I found out today about myself. I'm bringing it up because I learned something new about myself.
Okay.
I don't know.
I thought you felt like I was...
No.
I don't know, like you needed like you felt like I was looking
competing
at you, like you needed
me?
to come on, like pick it up, like let's go.
No. Because I know what I'm good at and I know what you're good at. Like you like running, I don't.
Yeah.
You know, I like lifting. That's just something that I do and something that I enjoy doing. I mean, you don't enjoy running. You don't enjoy any of it.
No, I don't. I don't enjoy any of it.
I enjoy working. I enjoy lifting. I don't enjoy running. And it's not so much cardio. It's not the cardio because I like cardio. It's just running. There's something about it. But when I see other people run, I'm like, God, I wish I could do that. That like, I like it when I see other people running, you know, but it's just, it's not my jam.
I don't mind running. But as far as like working, I would rather play. I don't even like watching basketball.
You'd rather play a sport.
I would rather play basketball. I would rather play football. I would rather go to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Instead of working out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Maybe that is the competitive thing, but it's just it's more fun. You know, it's a game.
Yeah.
We're playing a game.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not like I'm going to go play a game of basketball and then I'm going to be pissed if I lost. It's like, whatever. We got beat. I don't even fucking play basketball. Who cares?
Yeah.
You know, but you're working out.
Yeah.
So I would rather, you know, do it that way.
Yeah.
But sadly, there's not time for all that stuff. A lot of times.
Yeah. So this week I have been really just focusing on not being more present with the kids.
Yeah.
Because I focus on that, but I'm really tuning into that. Because I've felt that these past months, like I just felt that Audrey was off. But I'm like, maybe it's just me looking into it, being a worried mom. You know, because you would see her and she'd be happy and then she'd be sad and then happy. Yeah. But I'm like, what is it?
Like, what's going on?
And, you know, talking to other people, it's like their children, it's like all the children are going through the same thing. And maybe it could be the pandemic. I'm sure there's a lot going on with that, you know, but also she's at an age where there's a whole lot of changing going on.
Yeah.
Right?
You know what? A quick plug, but I was just listening to Joe Coy's podcast and he was talking about the same thing, about his kid and going to school. And he's like, look at everything that they've had to go through in the last year. He's like, so if they came back and their grades aren't the greatest, it's like, fucking cut them some slack.
Right.
Like a lot of them spent the entire year at home.
Yeah.
You know, and the teachers don't know they didn't know what the hell they were doing. The kids didn't know what they were doing. We didn't know what we were doing.
It was just a mess, like a mess. But it didn't seem like that affected her as much. So that's why I wasn't as worried, you know, and they went to school. They returned to school pretty quick, you know.
Yeah.
After a while, like going
We're in Arizona.
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
We don't play no games.
So I just didn't understand. And first of all, I felt, you know, going back to the encounter and that experience and seeing the younger girls there sharing what they were going through and all their heartache and obstacles at such a young age. And I'm thinking, they're close to Audrey's age. They're 2 years older than Audrey. And when I came back from the encounter, I'm like, we're going back to church. Like, we're going back to church. Adriana doesn't feel that she fits in school. We already talked a little bit about this because she doesn't have social media. She doesn't have a phone. She doesn't watch rated R movies or even PG-13 movies. And a lot of the kids that go to public schools.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. And so, you know, they kind of tease her like, oh, you're immature and this and this and that. And I'm like, I started talking to a friend from church and she's like, bring her, just bring her by. She's like, because a lot of our kids don't have social media. They don't have a cell phone, and she will feel like she fits in.
Yeah.
And so, we've been going back, Audrey and I have been going to connect groups. We have been going to church as a family. We just started. And just yesterday, we had an event that took place, a post encounter, and I took Audrey with me. And I wasn't going to because I was at a signing and I was right in Chandler. But God was telling me, pick her up. Because I got there a little late because I came back home to pick her up.
Yeah.
And I took her in, and on the way, I just had to talk with her about self-worth and self-love. And, when life comes at her, for her to know how to turn inward and focus on everything that she has. Like, get in a state of gratitude and sit in that state. But I need you not just to think it, but to feel it, And I started talking to her. I'm like, you went with me to these group homes where these girls, they didn't have a mom, or like they were living with strangers.
Yeah.
And everything that they have could fit in a suitcase.
There was that podcast that you had sent me with, it was that Bulletproof Radio one where they were talking about like your emotions and how you can kind of train, like he was using the meditation to kind of train his emotions.
Yes.
I don't remember which one of them it was, but it was the Miracle Morning guy, Hal something.
Yes. Yes.
But they were saying kind of like he would take the meditation time to kind of sit there and think about being angry or being in a negative emotion.
Yes.
And then switching from that negative emotion to the opposite emotion, to being happy or to whatever he wants to feel in that moment.
Yeah. And he was even mentioning dreams. Like, like you can be in a dream, like having a dream, like a scary dream or a sad dream, and wake up and your pulse is racing, you're sweating, you're crying,
Yeah. But what I was thinking about, like from that podcast, like Audrey and how she's feeling and having those emotions, if she can practice what they were talking about, like being in that
right,
and switching into the other one, or even like for me, when I'm angry or in jujitsu, I was thinking the same thing. It would help, like when you're freaked out and you're panicking, like going into being calm.
Right. But in order to even start that, you have to be aware. You have to be present with yourself and be aware of what you're feeling and what those triggers are in order to be able to get into gratitude when she's feeling depressed, anxious, whatever it may be. Like, she has to be aware of what she's feeling.
Yeah.
And so I was talking to her about that, and I'm having a very deep conversation with her on the way to church, and she's listening, and she's very quiet. And so I'm like, is she taking this in? Like, is she taking this
in? On the way to church?
Yeah. And I'm just being very real and raw with her. And we go to church, and on the way home, we're talking, and we get right in front of the house, right before the house. And my baby, she's like, Mom, she's like, I was listening when you were talking to me earlier, she said. And I have to share with you that this is the first time that I felt happy in a long time. And she's crying so hard that her little body is shaking. And I'm like, how could I not see that?
Yeah.
And it's like, and I talked to her and I'm like, what's going on? And she tells me, she's like, I just don't feel good enough. She's like, I don't feel smart enough. She's like, and I'm really good at pretending. She said, I'm really good at pretending when I'm happy. She said,
But once I get into the room, I just cry. She's like, and I remember that before you would have us look in the mirror and say affirmations. And she said, and I was telling myself the total opposite, looking at myself in the mirror, crying. And I could feel her pain. And I'm just like, and I look at her, you know, and I tell her, like, you matter. Like, you are so important to me. I love you. And just like talking to her, and she said, you know, Mom, she's like, at church, she's like, it all started when we started coming back to church.
Yeah.
And I know that I've felt pressured by you. And I don't get it. Like, I don't understand. You know, like when we were talking about, you know, upstairs, and you were talking to me, you were sending me a video of something you were talking to me about magic because of the gift that I have and how I feel things and how I connect with people and messages that God downloads messages to me to give to other people, you know, to give to other people. And then you start talking to me about magic, and you know, there's other ways that you can learn to do that, because I talked to you about going to the school of ministry.
Yeah.
And you started throwing this on me, and I'm like, what? Like, that's not what's going to make me happy. I'm not trying to do magic.
Yeah.
You know, like, I believe 100%, you know, that these are messages from God. Like, I feel him. And I know it's so hard for you to understand, and I can't explain it to you. I told you it's like going to a concert, like, you know, your favorite artist that you've been wanting to see your entire life, and you finally see him, and you're trying to explain. Someone's like, how is it? And you're trying to explain it, and you're trying to explain it, but you just can't.
Yeah.
And I remember when I got back from the encounter, I asked you, I said, all I ask is that you respect how I feel and not try to get me not to believe. It's on an episode.
Okay.
And I asked you that. And it's not that I'm following blindly. I'm not gullible. You know, I stopped believing for a year, not in God, but that Jesus Christ is the only way, because I started reading the Bible, and there were certain things where I was conflicted and confused. You know?
Yeah.
And I told you there's no proof, without a doubt, that I can't give you any proof. And because I don't have any proof. It's just what I feel. It's what I feel inside. And then I asked, I told you, I said, listen, we were upstairs and we were at it. We were arguing. And yes, I did get upset because I felt that you were trying to shift what I was feeling and what I was thinking. And I told you, I gave you an analogy, and I know it's totally different, but it's kind of like, if this isn't going to hurt me, and if this is going to bring me closer to my children and my children closer to me, and give my children, Audrey, something bigger to believe in and help her with what she's feeling, then what is so wrong with this?
Yeah.
And I told you about the analogy. I'm like Shallow Hal, right? I had brought that up. I'm like, listen, in Shallow Hal, what's the dude's name? The main guy?
I don't know.
Whatever. He was in love with this girl, and he was so into looks. Like, he didn't care about their personality. He expected them to have a perfect body, and he didn't. But somehow this is what he wanted. And he would only talk to girls that had that perfect body. But somehow
he had a spell cast.
Tony
Robbins.
Robbins went and freaking
casted a spell
on him. And now all he was able to see were the insides of these girls. And there was this girl that he was
It's kind of crazy that you say that. He did what?
He casted a spell on him. Yeah. And he could see the inside of these women, and they were all beautiful to him. And there was one that he fell in love with. And his friend is like, what is wrong with you? Can't you see?
Yeah,
Can't you see how big she is? And so he went and got a hold of Tony.
Yeah.
And got rid of the spell. And Hal was devastated. He's like, you know, what gave you the right? Like, I was in love with her. And that's how I feel. Like,
I'm sorry you feel that way. And that's not the same. The shallow Hal and him being superficial over a girl's weight.
Okay,
is
that's
not the
just
same
a small.
thing.
It's not. But what I told you is, if this is what makes me happy, if this is what drives me and brings me to alive, then what is so wrong?
I got it.
And you said, how are you going to feel? You said, how would you feel if you found out that God was not real?
No,
and I could not answer
that's
that.
not what I said.
What did you say?
That is not what I said to you.
What did you say?
What I said to you was, how would you feel if somebody could explain the things that you're doing? Because you said here recently that you went to a signing, right? And that you had another one of these experiences where you're telling people things that they, like, you don't know about them, but God is telling you something and you're telling them something and they're in shock. You're in shock. You have no idea how this thing happens, right?
Right.
And I told you that there are things that humans do subconsciously, right?
Yes.
Or unconsciously also.
Yes.
Things that we don't even realize that we're picking up on.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked you, how would you feel?
To the magic.
Listen, I was just telling you, it was just one question. It was, how would you feel if somebody could explain to you what's happening? If it's not like
God,
a thing,
if it's not God.
Okay, if it's not God, and I don't, and look at, you're already getting,
just go ahead.
Listen, you're getting emotional about it for a reason. So I'm asking, if you found out that this was something that you're doing subconsciously and something that you could develop and learn how to do, how would you feel about it? Would you be sad that it wasn't from God or not? Because the fact that if you would feel sad means that you have an emotional attachment because you want this to be real.
Because I know God. I have a close relationship with God. So what you're telling me is if this isn't real, right? It's going to make me like question everything. Everything.
How? If you could keep developing this gift.
I'm just because I'm not wanting to set up a psychic.
So,
but the bottom line is go ahead.
No, because you've been sitting here and saying all these things, but all I'm saying is I've just wanted you to ask some questions. And and this week has been rough for everybody. I mean, well, at least, well, not for everybody, but for me and you with the whole spiritual thing, it's been a rough week. Hasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because yes.
And all I've wanted was just I'm just asking you a question and you don't answer me and you just get mad.
Because I feel you're attacking me.
I'm not attacking you. But listen, all I'm asking is like, would you feel sad? Just so that you could understand for yourself that if I'm getting an emotion of feeling sad, it's probably because I'm emotionally attached to the outcome of this thing.
What happened? But how was I when I was reading the Bible and I started questioning my faith? How was I? I was in tears. I was broken. I was broken down.
But you still made it through, right?
So it's like, yeah, because I realized, this is a Bible. And the Bible, the disciples were they were men. They were human. And and we are not perfect.
No.
So regardless of what this Bible is saying, I have a personal relationship with God.
Yeah. So all I wanted to say about this whole thing, the whole spirituality thing that you've been going through lately, the way I've been coming at you about the whole thing, I just want you to, I wanted you to ask some questions. And we've already talked about it enough. And the way I feel the way you feel is not going to change. Right? Regardless, it's just not going to change.
No.
The way I feel is it would take so much for it to change. Like, I need proof.
Man.
That's it. But listen, but I don't care. And I'm looking at what all this is doing to our relationship, and I just don't care. This is not, like, for one, we get into these things every once in a while. Like, we'll go into a cycle where, you know, you start reading more, or I'll start looking up more stuff, and then we start talking about this whole thing more. And the way I feel about it, like, I just don't care about it enough to have it ruin our relationship.
So then just love me.
Can I talk, please? And that's what I'm going to say. Is like, do your thing. As long as it's not hurting anybody, or you're not, you know, I don't care. I don't want it. Like, we have a good thing. So if you want to go to church, and, you know, if I want to go to church, I'll go to church. Don't push me to do things that I don't want to do.
I don't.
And you can do your thing, you know, and that's fine. And it's not that, like, I won't go to church with you or anything just because I'm going to be a fucking stubborn, hard-headed person. No. I can still go to church with you. But I'm not going to bring up stuff anymore. You can do your thing. You know, you want to drink your charcoal, drink your charcoal. You want to go on a 10-day fast, do a 10-day fast. You know, like, I haven't, and I'm just saying that because I haven't looked up the charcoal. I don't know what it is, but you're doing a lot of things quickly. You won't, you know, and as long as it doesn't hurt you, I don't care. The necklace thing, that might have, you know, but this is one of these things. Like, I looked up something that they're showing you specific scientific data that they're using test equipment to measure stuff. So if they're saying that there's radiation coming from this necklace, then I'm not going to wear it.
Right. And as soon as
that
happened, though, what happened?
As soon as that happened, you started looking up their website, and you started reading to me things that they were saying that this is not them. Right. Even though it looks exactly, even down to the little bead that's above the little disc that's on the necklace, like the Chinese made ones.
But
that
have
you can
I been
buy.
wearing it?
No, you haven't. But
you know, so
all I'm saying is, if that's what you want to do, then that's fine. I just don't want to keep fighting over the same thing.
And that's all I asked for. And
that's fine. So we can do that.
It's such a good thing. I mean, look at Audrey.
Because this is
a good thing.
This is my thought. Like, for people that, you know, I've mentioned it on the podcast before, the way I feel, the way I see things. And I am 100% not religious or spiritual. I'm just not. As far as I would go, is I would say that we're all made up of stardust. You know, if you want me, that's as spiritual as I'm gonna go.
Yeah,
because
and you also
that
agree
is
that
that
the
is,
earth, like we are. I mean,
we all
part
came.
of it.
Everything that we're looking at, the camera that we're talking into, the lights that are lighting us up right now, all of this came from the earth. We came from the earth.
Right.
So that's why I'm saying it's not even really like a spiritual thing. It's a fact that we are stardust. We came from the earth. The earth came from space, from all the different things that came together to make up Earth, right?
And where did the planets and everything come from?
And that's why I'm saying, okay, so where did the planets and everything else come from? But you're going to tell me that there's a certain group of people that know exactly where it came from. I don't believe it.
No, baby.
So,
nobody knows 100% without a doubt. That's where faith comes into.
But this is now where you're trying to convince me that there's all I'm saying is that I don't think anybody knows where things came from.
Right.
And people want to make it spiritual. They want to make it religious. No, you can't possibly understand it.
See, and God, like for me, just God is love. And you hear me say this all the time. And it's just not love. It's like a pure, I wish I could transfer
what about
to
when
you
a lion kills
what
a
I
zebra?
feel.
Is that love?
You know? I wish I could transfer what I feel to you.
It's good.
Because then you would understand.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pure love, joy, and peace that sits in every part of your being.
That's fine. You know what? And you've seen it too, because just because I feel the way I feel, like people look at somebody that sees things the way I do, like I got some fucking dark cloud over me all the fucking time. My life is not like that. You've seen me being grateful. I am very grateful for everything that we have. I'm very grateful from where we came from.
Right.
So just because I feel and I think the way I do doesn't mean that I'm like, oh my God, some fucking mopey piece of shit everywhere I go.
It's just seeing the greatness in all things and everything.
Okay, explain.
You know? It's seeing the good and the bad.
Well, you just said the good. Now you're bringing in the bad.
It's when, and I do it. So don't, it's just seeing the good in everything. Even when things, it's hard to see the good when something bad happens.
Yeah.
But it's still.
Is that not something that I do? There's a lot of things that people seem to think that somebody that doesn't believe in spirituality or religion, like we're not capable of having certain feelings.
No,
like I can't have a real feeling of love because it didn't come from God.
No,
that isn't horseshit.
I didn't say that.
Well, I'm just saying, like you're trying to make it seem like there's certain emotions that because it's not like I can't feel them, like gratitude or all these other things.
I don't know. It's just, I'm not saying you don't. I mean, you love the kids, you know.
Is it different?
Love me,
is it different?
You love your mom.
Is it different?
You know. I don't know.
I'm just saying when you think of somebody that may be agnostic or atheist, like what do you see them as? Like is it raining on them? Are they standing in a puddle?
I don't judge.
No, I'm saying your picture of when you think of an atheist or an agnostic or something like that.
I don't. I'm with you.
You know
I don't judge. I don't have a picture, an image in my head. You know, to everybody that knows me and people that know me that are watching this, the way I speak about you is that he doesn't believe in God yet, but he is a godly man. And I say that because you live that life. Like you are caring, you are loving, you know, but it's like I see when you get upset and angry. I feel your energy.
Guess what?
I feel your
Guess what?
Your negativity.
Guess what?
I
It's not me being, an atheist or an agnostic or whatever you want to call it. It's not that.
It's just you.
Because guess what? There's spiritual people, there's Christian people, there's Muslim people, there's all kinds of people that feel exactly the same way that I do. So it has nothing to do with that.
And I didn't say that it did. But I'm saying I wish that I could get you to feel God the way I feel him. That's what I meant to say. Because God to me is peace, love, joy. You know what I'm saying? It's all pure.
So that's what I'm asking you. So do you feel that love from God towards me and towards the kids?
Yes.
Can I feel that?
I'm sure you can. Yes, you do.
So I feel the same thing.
It's just on a different level, baby. I feel this love for everybody. Like I love you. There's a deeper love for you guys, but I love people in general, for my family. But I have this love for you. You see it. Why are you playing when people hurt me? No. Do I go back and I hurt them back, or how am I?
I'm just asking if it's different between me and you, because you're saying that God is love and love comes from God and all that stuff.
I'm not saying
what I mean?
Having love for God.
Okay.
I don't know. I can't explain it. I can't explain it. That's why I said I wish I could transfer over what I'm feeling.
So do I.
You know?
So do I. Like I'm not against it. I'm not against it. And that's it goes back to kind of that question. Because I wouldn't be sad if I found out like for a fact that it was real. Like, oh shit. And then you know what?
And I can't
and then at that point, I might be actually terrified. Because it's like, holy shit. Because there's a lot of things that I don't agree with, but if this is actually what it is, then you know what I mean?
What do you mean? You're getting
as far as in the religious sense. In the religious sense.
That's not me. It's not me. It's never been me. Right?
Yeah.
That's not me.
No. It hasn't. You've been.
So you don't even. Yeah,
I'm just
that's
saying.
Not part of
that's
this
different.
Conversation.
No.
And the church I go to is not that way.
So as far as your beliefs, like God is love, and it's all the positivity. It's none of the the baggage and the negative stuff and the feeling shameful.
I believe in good spirits. I believe in bad spirits.
But all the shame and all that other stuff, anyway.
That's stuff that needs to be, in order to heal from shame and loneliness, depression, anxiety, all of that. That comes to me. That's a whole different subject. That's like past trauma. There's stuff that's in there that needs to be healed in order for you to get past that.
All I'm saying is that if I found out for a fact that it was true, then I would stop and start looking at it this way. Like, okay, then
because
this is true.
Because you're scared to go to hell? Is that what you're saying?
It's not that I'm scared. It's the truth. Where's the truth at? If it's over here, I'm going over here. I'm not going over there.
Yeah. And so, like I told you, regardless, right? No one's going to know 100% without a doubt.
Okay.
But I choose.
Exactly.
I choose to be a part of this community.
And that's fine. All right. I don't know why you're lecturing me like I keep you from it. But it's fine. And I told you that it's fine. You can do your thing. All right.
And so, and then I started to think about where the disconnect comes from. Okay. When it comes from, our kids. Now I'm going back to Audrey. Like, where does that disconnect come from? Like, where, I don't know if I heard something or read something, but it's like, kids having the inner child. You heard me saying this a lot lately. Like, children are so pure, right? Like, they're funny, they're silly as shit, they say the craziest stuff, and they don't care who they're around.
Yeah.
When they're little, like, they sing, they dance, shit just comes out of their mouth. Like, it's like, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, where does that get lost? Like, where did Audrey stop acting like that silly little, beautiful, pure, innocent girl? Where did that get lost?
It seemed like it was from one day to the next.
And it's like, I started looking at myself and I'm like, when did I stop? When did I stop having fun? And what is fun? Like, when did I stop caring about what people think? Because I used to always dance in the car, like all the time.
Yeah.
I used to dance in the car, sing and be silly. Like, that's me. And when did all that stop?
It's like when you see somebody dancing in the car, you're like, look at what are they doing?
Look
at them.
it.
And it's like,
it makes me smile.
It's like, fuck you. They're having a good time.
Right. And that was me. And I'm like, where did that go? What happened to that girl?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I made the decision, you know what? She's still within me. And if I allow me to be that silly woman, it's going to rub off on my daughter. She's going to see that who cares? I am who I am and I love who I am. It's having that self-love and appreciation. And so the other day, she was upstairs and I got down on the floor and I just started tickling the shit out of her.
I heard you guys. I was like, what the hell is going on upstairs?
And she's screaming. And I'm just like tickling her. We're having such a good time. And she's smiling and I'm smiling.
I don't know if she came down or you came down. And I can't remember who. It was probably her. She came. I don't know if she gave me a hug or a kiss. And I'm like, you're sweaty.
Yeah. And then I'm like, that was really cool. And then I just made it a habit. Like, I did it to her yesterday again, and I'm like, when we were in the car on the way to church, like before I started, I had that talk with her. Like, I just put the music on because she likes the music loud.
Yeah.
And I just started dancing in the car with her in there. And then I looked on the side of my eye and I could see that she was dancing too.
Yeah.
And I told her, like, what I shared with you all, I shared with her.
Yeah.
I'm like, I was fun. Like, I would dance and sing and I just didn't care.
Yeah.
And I don't know when I stopped.
We just talked about that this morning when we were talking to her about her YouTube video. and caring what people think.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, I saw you had a little pop socket on your phone there with a little logo on it. Did you happen to get that on Amazon?
Oh, actually. I did. Yes, I did.
Heck yeah. So, if you guys would go to oppositesattractpodcast.com. This is probably like the most awkward jump into the freaking ads ever. But no, yeah. If you guys are enjoying the podcast, make sure you go to oppositesattractpodcast.com. You can share it with those that you know. You can listen to the podcast there. You can watch it there. And when you go there, the first thing that's going to pop up is going to be our resource list. And what that is we, years ago when we first met in the beginning of our relationship, we had a lot of things that we had to work out, right? Yeah. And
we had a lot of growth that needed to take place.
We had no kids.
Yeah.
We,
I was selfish.
We thought we knew some things. We thought we knew some things. But so over the years we've learned some things. And what the resource list is a list of books, podcasts, videos, things that we have found helpful that have helped us over the years. Mm-hmm. And if you're at any one of the stages that we were in, or even if you're where we're at or, past us, then these videos, they come in handy, just to kind of, we were listening to this. I was listening to that book upstairs, and I was just kind of thinking that it's one of these things that you just gotta, the 4 agreements.
Yes.
But I could tell that book is one of those things that you listen to again.
Right.
And again. After a couple of years, you listen to it again. And that's kind of how these videos are, because you'll pick up things and they'll just remind you and refresh your memory.
Yeah.
So if you fill in your name and your email, you'll be able to download the resource list. And if you are on your phone, you can hit the menu button and you'll see the tab that says support the show, or you'll see the support the show tab on the computer at the top. And that'll take you to our Amazon link. And anything that you purchase through that link won't cost you anything extra, but it helps out the show. And you'll see a link to Trust Inc.
And we are a nationwide mobile notary agency and signing agency. So, we do a lot of work with title companies and law firms. If you are refinancing, purchasing, or selling a home, you can request us to be your signing agency. Right now, we haven't been doing a lot of general notary, so like titles and estate planning and stuff like that, just because, as you all know, the interest rates are super low right now, and everyone and their mother is refinancing, purchasing, or selling.
Yeah.
But maybe once it slows down a bit, we'll look at doing more general notary work.
So you can request Trust Inc. You can go to Trust Inc. directly by going to trustincUSA.com. And if you would also like to check out some of our merch on Amazon, if you go to Amazon and you type in Opposites Attract Podcast, you'll start to see some of our t-shirts. We have t-shirts for men, t-shirts for women. We have different logos.
We just designed a shirt,
which will be coming out soon.
My favorite.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I tell them?
We'll wear it on the show.
Okay.
We'll wear it on the show. So I just checked right now to see if it was out, and it's not out yet. So if you guys keep checking, it might pop up. If you search Opposites Attract Podcast on Amazon, you'll see it, and you'll get the Amazon shipping. And I don't know if you go through our link on our website if it will do anything, but if you want to give it a shot and help us out some more, you can do that. We're also affiliates with Libsyn, which is who hosts our podcast. And if you guys would like to talk about your hobbies, or you have something you want to talk about and start a podcast, you can use promo code OAP for Opposites Attract Podcast to get your podcast started. It'll give you this month for free, or whatever month you sign up in for free, and it'll give you the next month for free.
Nice.
Promo code OAP. So, you say you were talking about Audrey, and probably right around the same time, I was thinking about like the conversation that we had with Joe Newman, and the whole anger and just the time that we waste being angry. And it's not just Joey, but like me too, because I'm still dealing with all that shit.
I get angry too.
Yeah.
I just don't.
But
it doesn't last long.
I mean, not to go back and plug oppositesattractpodcast.com, the resource list. As soon as it pops up, you can go to it. No, but not to plug that, but it's one of those things that you have to like remember every once in a while.
You have to be aware.
And it's been a while since I thought about like just a waste of time. Yeah. Like and actually, you know what I think reminded me of it was the whole spiritual thing. Like I'm thinking to myself, I was like, you're set. It's gonna take a lot for me to freaking change my opinion. What are we fighting about? Like at the end of my life, it's gonna be a fucking waste of time. You know?
And we're going on a different subject.
But not just that, but it's the same with being angry. It's the same with being lazy. It's the same with all these things.
Yeah.
You know, and I was talking to Joey about being angry, and I'm like, hey, and this is how I kind of broke it down to him. I was telling him, I was like, look, if you got angry today for 2 hours, and then you got angry tomorrow for 2 hours, and the next day for 2 hours, and the day after that for 2 hours, I'm like, do you know that at the end of 12 days, you would have been angry for one full day, for 24 hours without sleeping? You would have been angry for one full day. And he was like, wow. And I was like, yeah. I was like, that's only 12 days.
Yeah.
I was like, what about at the end of your life? What about at the end of the month?
Right.
At the end of the year? At the end of your life?
Yeah.
You've spent years being angry.
Yeah.
Or sad.
Right. Yeah. When I was talking to Audrey.
And then I got angry right after that. But and you know what? It's not a fucking joke. It probably is, because it's just, it is. This is life.
When I was talking to Audrey about the different emotions and being able to recognize, like, when she's getting into a funk and knowing, you know, certain things to do when she's starting, you know, to feel sad. And, you know, I looked at her, and I don't think I've ever had this conversation with her, but I looked at her and I'm like, you know, you are my world. I'm like, you, your daddy, and your brother are my world. I said, and if anything ever happened to you, I'd be devastated. I don't know what I would do. I said, I love you. And I'm like, nothing else matters. I said, nothing else matters. I said, I will drop this business in a heartbeat. I will stop doing everything and anything for you.
That's what it's all about.
And she just looked at me, and I think that we need to tell them that more often, because she was feeling alone.
Yeah. I think there may be some things that, and I don't want to use it as an excuse, but there may be some things that there just isn't something we can do about, because they're just going through their, like we were talking to Joe about it, because remember we were feeling horrible about those feelings, and he was like, that's 95% of parents in the country. Like these might be things that, like,
being on top
like
of
her feeling alone, for a girl that's 11 going through puberty and dealing with school and all these different things.
Yes.
That may just be something that they feel. I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
It has to do with the time. It has to do with the pandemic. It has to do with a lot of things.
There may be things
right
that we can
now.
do.
Because she was so worried about her grades.
Yeah.
Like, she was so worried about her grades, and I got a report card, and I'm like, girl, she was so surprised. I'm like, you've been working hard and not giving yourself credit.
People are trying to figure out if we're good parents or not good parents. Like, do they give a fuck about school, or do they not give a fuck about school? Like, wait, it seems like they love their kids, but I don't know what the fuck's going on. You know what I mean?
Because listen, this year has been jacked. And I told her, I'm like, listen,
but I think that's everybody out there, right?
It's not serious. I don't think so. There's some parents that are really on it. Like, they're straight A's or no, we're not that way.
But they probably don't listen to our podcast.
Yeah, no. Like, I tell our kids, 100%, as long as you give your best, you know, then I'm good with that, especially with everything that's going on right now. Our kids did not do well homeschooling.
No.
They did not enjoy it. They did not get it. They were lost. So, yeah, you know, I was expecting the report card to be not so good. So, I saw it, and I started tearing up. And she's like, Mom, you're crying over my report card.
Fucking crying over like a mediocre report card. You're like, oh. I'm so relieved.
That's good.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But
it was because she was so hard on herself. It's because I was feeling her relief. I was feeling her happiness. Like, you know, and I was proud of her. But she was
I'm saying, like, she was being hard on herself, like thinking that her report card wasn't good enough. And she's like, oh my God, you're crying over. And it's like, no, your report card's good.
No, but that's why.
Yeah.
I mean, she knew I was proud of her, and you know, but she was so stressed out about it. And it's like, you know, what people, you hear this too, like, thoughts are
Thoughts are things and they become real. If you are constantly telling yourself negative things, it's going to get worse. It's not going to get better. I told her, you have to be more aware of what you're telling yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and stop lying to yourself. I told her.
You know what? When you were saying that, I was thinking something about like the affirmations. You were talking about the affirmations, how Audrey was saying, like she told you that she was saying the opposite to herself.
Right.
In her head.
Yeah. She was looking at herself in the mirror.
Well,
telling herself the opposite.
One thing we can talk to her about is, look, you tried it your way and look how you feel.
Yeah.
You tried it your way. Like you don't feel pretty. You don't feel smart. You don't feel whatever it is that you're telling yourself in that mirror.
Right.
Guess what happened? Exactly what I told you was going to happen happened.
Yeah.
You were telling yourself that you weren't that.
You don't want to come at them like I told you so. Exactly.
It's not an I told you so type of thing. It's like, hey, why don't we change what you're telling yourself? Because exactly what I told you was going to happen happened. So let's do it this way now and see if we can get a different result.
But also, like I was telling her, I don't want to be perfect, baby. I'm like, I don't want to be perfect. I love where I am right now. Yeah. I love being 43. I don't want to go, or 44. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. I love my life where it is today. And I'm so excited for when I turn 50 because I know that I'm only going to be better. I said, because that's what I focus on is just becoming a better me. It's not about being better than, there's a competitive being better than the neighbor or being better than the person. I'm competing with me right now.
Yeah.
I said, and it's just like, enjoy where you are right now. But in order to enjoy where you are right now, you have to realize what you have. Like you have us, you have love, you're surrounded with love. There's so many people that love you.
Yeah.
There's so many people that are cheering for you. And because you're so caught up in your emotions and your thoughts, you can't see it. Like you gotta take scale back. I don't know where I heard this somewhere, but it's like, you have these scales. You're not seeing the beauty in you.
No.
Yeah,
maybe trying the affirmations the other way might help.
But it's not only that. You have to also believe in that too. Like if you're like not,
but the thing
you're
is that
smart.
They were talking
work
about
hard on it.
They were talking about that, and we've talked about it, like the secret, like what's missing from the secret.
Right.
And they were talking about it on the
on
the podcast on that, I think the bulletproof one.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing. It's not just talking about it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some things that all you can do is talk about it, but there's things that you can work on.
Yeah. But think about it. If she's like not, which she didn't mention this, but you're not skinny enough, you're not pretty enough. Like, who are you comparing yourself to? Who are you comparing yourself to?
Yeah.
YouTube, the fake pictures on she doesn't have an Instagram. But, that's it. It's like the only person you're competing with is you.
Yeah.
Not the girl next door. But it's like as a woman, I'm talking to her and I mean, I feel that I lead. I feel that I lead. Do you feel that I lead?
Yeah.
Like I'm not just speaking to her, like I walk in my truth. I try, I do my best to walk in my truth so that she can see that what I'm telling her is how I truly feel. And I'm not trying to blow smoke up her butt.
Yeah.
That's
why we're a good mix.
Why?
Because I'm the
you
same
like to
way.
Blow smoke
No,
up
I don't.
Butt?
No, because I'm not. I am who I am.
Yeah.
With them too.
Yeah.
That's why it's good when we drop them off at the bus stop. We should do it together. That way they would have a combination of both of us. Be kind, love everyone, focus and pay attention. Stop, look, and listen when your teacher's talking to you.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it is.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
I'm going to save all the gong sound effects and the magical stuff I'm just going to drop 10 of them at the end in a row.
I'm really excited for our next guest. Like, I really am, because it's time. You know, like, people need to hear and educate themselves on what our children are going through.
And it's not over. The contest.
Okay, that's why I didn't say.
Right? Because she hasn't been on yet.
No, she hasn't been on yet. Nope.
So we can keep doing it.
We can.
So maybe we'll do another post or something.
Something.
Because nothing happened last time. If you guys checked our social media.
No one could figure it out. If no one hit us up.
If you listen to one of the last podcasts, if you guys would like a snazzy t-shirt. Do you remember that, babe?
Oh.
When you're talking about your snazzy t-shirt.
Yeah.
If you guys would like a free snazzy t-shirt, if you guys go back to one of our Facebook lives, we were talking about our next guest. If you guys can guess, we had Joe Coy.
Yep.
Then we had Joe Newman. And then our next guest
is...
Well, it's not our next actual guest, but it could be. They've been on the podcast. We all have them. You all know her. But if you guys can figure it out, the first person will send you a t-shirt.
That's a good one.
Joe Coy, Joe Newman, right?
That's a good one. This podcast is going to be all about Adriana.
This one? We've talked about
because
Joey
I still have more. No, but I still... So yesterday when we got home from church, you know, Audrey's 11. She's about to be 12 in July. And, you know, we took a shower and we were hanging out, singing, and just, man, I was so just enjoying her. And I washed her hair for her, and we got out, and today I actually combed her hair. I braided her hair. She allowed me to comb her hair and blow dry her hair, and
hell yeah.
It's just a beautiful, I just feel so full. Like, I'm so emotional right now.
You've cried like 3 times on the podcast already.
Because it feels so good just to be able, like, she allows me still to do these things.
Yeah, you got to take advantage when she does.
And then yesterday she asked me, she's funny. She was like, "Hey mom, okay, so I want to play a game." She's like, "So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my back towards the closet and I'm going to just pick out what I'm going to wear without knowing what I'm picking out." I'm like, "Ooh." I'm like, "Ooh." And then she's like, "And you."
This is not going to end well.
I love this because she's like, "And you can dress me on Thursday for Friday." And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "You're going to allow me to pick out your clothes?" And she said, "Yes." So for reals. So I was like, ooh, not only did I pick out her clothes, I'm like, okay, let's see. We're going to, these earrings. Yep. You're going to wear these earrings and this choker. And she's just like, oh, and don't forget my mask. Cause she has like matching mask as well.
Yeah.
You know, so I got her all dressed up and she came home and she looked so cute. And she came home and she told me, "Hey mom." I'm like, "What?" She's like, "My friend complimented me today and how I was dressed. And I told her that you picked out my clothes." And she's like, "Man, your mom has better taste than you."
Oh, man.
But Audrey's like, "So I want you to pick out my clothes 3 days out of the week." I'm like, "Hell yeah, I'll do that." Like, it's just great
cool.
that she's allowing me to be a part of like her life in that, because most girls at her age, they're not letting their moms pick out what they wear.
No.
You know?
No.
Or allowing their moms to shampoo and condition their hair and style her hair, and you know?
You got to take advantage of those moments.
And I feel like we're just reconnecting again. Like, I was feeling like she was distancing herself, and you know, and I feel like we are reconnecting again, and it just feels so good. Like, it feels so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know? Good. And it's like I'm learning with her, though. You know, it's like I'm learning, and it felt great, you know, like today, just dancing and singing and just like being silly with her and by myself. You guys
upstairs. I was downstairs. This is after CrossFit, so we were all sweating. The 3 of us went, so we were all sweaty.
She did so good. She enjoyed it too.
I was downstairs messing with the camera. Oh yeah, by the way, so if you guys watched the last episode, it was a little blurry. we got the new camera, and I was trying to get fancy with it, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So I think I kind of,
but he fixed it.
I think I figured it out
He
this week.
resolved the issue.
I can't say that I have because it hasn't come out yet.
Oh,
So I got to check out the footage later, but I think I got it this time. So you guys can tell us it should be great in 4K and all that. But anyway, so I was downstairs setting all the stuff up and, testing stuff. And I hear you guys upstairs because we were supposed to record this podcast, like it seemed like way earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I could hear you talking. And then I go into the, the bathroom and you guys are both in there. And I was just like, fuck it. Whenever you guys are done, you're done.
Thank you.
So, yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it was good. She, little shit, she freaking put the water because she likes taking hot showers.
Yeah.
Like super hot. And I'm like, that's too hot. I'm like, put it colder. And she's like, okay, Mom. And I get in there. I'm like, Audrey, because it was hot.
Yeah.
So then I like cold water. So I switch it all the way to cold. And I'm like, okay, come here. Let me rinse your hair. And she gets in and she's like, Mom. I'm like, that's what you get. She's like, wait, it kind of feels good. I'm like, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah. That's funny.
But yeah, anyways.
So real quick, the phone cases on Amazon, I just wanted to mention. My mom actually let me figure it out. So the phone cases on Amazon, they have for iPhone and for Samsung.
Oh, nice.
So, but when you look it up, it looks like it's only for one specific phone. Like it's the iPhone, whatever. But if you click on it, it'll give you the options for all the other phones. But I can't change the title. I can't leave it like Opposites Attract Podcast. Phone case for iPhone. It has specifically the name of that phone for some reason.
Yeah.
But if you click on it, you can pick whatever phone you want.
Okay.
So
very cool.
But yeah.
Very cool.
But so there was something that I saw today, or I don't know. Oh, I think it was my cousin Danny. He had sent it to me. And it's one of those things that you see it and you're like, I gotta look this up because I don't know if this is true or not. Mm-hmm. But apparently in China, if you're a foreign traveler from if you're a foreign, what that means is you're coming from another country. There's certain, I don't know if it's certain countries or certain people or what it is, but in China, they have an anal COVID test that is required.
Shut
up. You guys out there.
You looked it up.
I had to look it up because they sent it to me and I'm like, no.
You guys are going to be like, I'm ready.
So, yeah. So like my cousin sends it to me. I was like, there's no way. So I look it up and I find the art. This is what it said in the article. It was like the Chinese Center for Disease Control says the test is performed with sterile cotton swab, which looks like a very long earbud. Like any of you that have done the test know what that looks like. That is inserted 3 centimeters to 5 centimeters. So 1.2 to 2 inches. So like 1.5 inches to 2 inches.
What?
Into the anus before gently rotated out. So I'm so glad they gently rotated out.
That's so crazy. So you have to bend over, spread your butt cheeks, and in goes a Q-tip. And they slowly rotate.
And then.
Really, babe?
So.
That's crazy.
That might deter some people from going to China, and that might motivate some people to go to China if they're, be like, hey, I'm down
How
for
big is that Q-tip?
Like, I like traveling and a good time, so let's do this. But isn't that freaking nuts?
Yeah, that is. Yeah, definitely.
But anyway.
Do you want to talk? I've talked this whole podcast.
I think it was a good podcast. I think it was good.
I feel good. Just really quick. It's been difficult.
Yeah.
With everything, and I was sad because
I was too.
I'm so excited. Like I'm so excited, and it's like I have so much to share with you, but it's like, do I share it with him?
You can share it with me.
Do
your thing. Do your thing.
Yeah.
You can share it with me. I won't say anything. I may talk about some things, on the podcast that I've heard, but I'm not going to be, I know how you feel.
Thank you.
And like I said, something like this that to me, the way I see it is my feeling is that this stuff may not be true. So why would I let something like this ruin my marriage or put so much stress on our relationship?
Whoops.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So do your thing. If you want to talk to me about it, you can talk to me about it. I'm not going to judge or whatever. I'll listen.
I have everyone praying for you. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I just saw someone.
That's good.
I just saw someone. Our doorbell's going to ring.
Okay. Well, there's a sign, so we'll see if the sign works. But anyway. Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
They just walked away. They saw the sign. It worked. What? Yeah. So we love you guys.
We need a sign or something, right?
Yeah. I'm like, what?
Oh shit! I'm like knocking stuff over.
Dude, like we got some new lights. Miguel, you guys got to see this setup, man. Because
I was gonna talk about that, but I'm not gonna talk about it right now.
You're not.
We'll talk about it another time. Hey,
but I can't see up there because it's so bright. But I know it. You know, I got it.
I'm saying like we need a sign for like the end of the podcast. Like if I freaking point at you and do like the gun marks
or the
touching the nose. What the hell does that mean? Show's over.
Yeah.
Like a thumb in the butt.
Well, we love you guys. We support you. We thank you for your support. We support you as well.
Yeah.
And so, you want to start it?
And thanks for listening to Opposites Attract podcast,
where we get better together.
Bye.
Bye.
Maybe next time.